Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasishtha Nirvana Prakarana Purvardha, and we are in section 2, dealing with the solution of the chitta. And Sage Vasishtha continues. And Sri Rama goes on listening. And with the entire setup of satsanga, and I have already elaborately, allegorically described. So each of you will go home and say, how many were there in the satsanga? And of course we'll say, counted few. But the reality is totally different. No matter how number may be very few, but the wisdom that is given is not few, between few and far between. It is beyond few and far. Try to understand from many angles. From another angle, simple point, all these talks are going to be heard by people again and again and again by technology. So it's not limited. How many will hear? That will depend. So it's not limited. But that's only at kid scale. The real, how much do you influence yourself, people around you, you yourself don't know. Satsanga has touched all those factors that go to form your personality. And your personality is linked to the personality, to the world. A wave cannot separate itself from the ocean and stand up. So, how many people, how many are influenced? You can't. How many people listen to this satsang? You have no idea. You may be alone in a temple or in your own puja room. But how many people are involved in your prayer, in your meditation? Saraswati Devi is listening to you. You are adoring her. Lakshmi Devi, Krishna, Rama, whomsoever. And if he is there in your temple, someone says, how many were there? I said, don't, I was alone. Now you can understand. You cannot be alone. The effect of satsanga is not quantitative. It's qualitative. So it is not dependent upon numbers. But for whatever situation, whatever setup of satsanga, even if your satsanga consists only with your own self, studying, praying, etc. That satsanga has enfolded the whole world before you. Because every spiritual movement is connecting yourself with the source of the entire universe. And satsanga is a blossom of that type of project. So, I will not go further in detail. Coming to the wisdom that you gain through satsanga, that wisdom is now being highlighted. All these objects of enjoyment, as well as the mental processes involved in enjoying them, desires and cravings, are reflections in Brahman. Like the unbounded ocean, Brahman alone continues to surge as the reality behind all these illusory names and forms. You must realize this is a very advanced study. What you are being led to understand is the subtle basic point. All your experiences require awareness. If you experience something, so very aware of it, well, how could you say you experienced it if you didn't have awareness? But try to understand that awareness is same as consciousness. Sanskrit word is Chaitanya. Another Sanskrit term is Prajnanam. Prajnanam Brahma. That pure consciousness is Brahman, the Absolute. That consciousness, that awareness does not go away. When you are a child, you are aware of your body, your toys. You grow up, face many challenges. Every challenge, you are aware of it. But all things that you are aware of in your day-to-day life, through your mind and senses, all those are variable aspect of awareness. Invariable aspect of awareness is Brahman. Waves are variable. Ocean is not. Projections on a screen are variable. The screen is not. All illuminations are variable. The sun is not. So that type of relationship is there with every experience that you have. That Brahman has not left you. You cannot experience anything without awareness. And when you go to sleep, you are not aware of the world. But implying the world is not absolute reality. While sleeping, suddenly you slip into dream. A totally different world arises. All these become your memories as time passes. You tell people what you dreamt. Same way you tell people about how you have lived your life, your whole story. But you are a poor storyteller. Writing autobiography also requires some talent. I'm joking. But all that I am implying, no matter how expert you are, you cannot write all about yourself. You don't know yourself. So many things have been forgotten. And all this time I'm pointing to your own practical reality, practice, this identity, present identity. You point your finger to many other countless embodiments you have taken. Mind will simply explode. But all the explosions go on. Just like think of all the waves creating their own drama in the ocean. An ocean holding off a whole commotion of undercurrents, whirlpools, and many things that go on in the ocean. But still ocean is ocean. Don't be carried away by emotion. Similarly, don't be carried away by your mind and senses and what they bring to you. The reality behind all the functions of your mind and senses. Firstly, the functions of mind and senses. They are only reflections or waves. And these functions have not in any way affected the absolute consciousness. Clouds can gather in the sky, countless. And the sky can be defined on the basis of clouds. You can see a piece of sky jumping along with the clouds. Clouds have captured a little blue circle. And as the clouds move, the blue also is moving with it. The sky may seem to jump around, play with clouds, but the sky remains untouched. So, the reality of every individual is the sky, the consciousness, the absolute screen, the truth. And all that you are experiencing is led by your conditioned mind, chitta. So how to work with your chitta so that chitta melts away? Two ways you use your chitta. One is the divine way. First, to understand chitta has four aspects. All together is called chitta. Chitta, buddhi, ahamkar, manas. Chitta, buddhi, ahamkar, manas. These are the aspects of chitta. This chitta can be negative or positive. From very practical point of view, the progress is progressive. Firstly, negative and positive aspects are mixed up in your mind. Early in the morning, you have 50% positivity and negativity, 50-50. Later, it becomes 90% positive, 10% negative. I will not go into further detail. So your progress has to be with persistence. But any positive you gain creates its impression. In sadhana movement, how to allow the positive to stay firm and let the negative be shaky. Therefore we use the mantra, even this will pass away. So that which is never passes away will be secure. But let me simplify the path. If you turn your attention to the Mahabharata. Positive chitta and negative chitta are well illustrated. The positive aspect is called Shishta Chatushtaya. The negative aspect is called Dushta Chatushtaya. 4 wicked ones. Shakuni Chitta, playing always dice, discouraging you from Purushartha, bringing you always to gamble. Karana, Dusht, intellect. Buddhi, the rationality, that's very sharp. But one thing it cannot give up is his association or being dominated by Duryodhana. Duryodhana is egoism. Egoism is not your reality. So if your mind, if egoism dominates your personality, that's a negative movement. And then you have Dushasana, Manas. So 4 personalities, they go to form Dushta Chatushtaya. Impure mind, impure ego, impure intellect, impure chitta. The opposing aspect, Yudhishthira, is chitta, purified chitta that holds dharma as the highest. Yato dharmas tato jaya. Nothing else, no adharma, dharma. And buddhi aspects, buddhi there is pure, absolute intellect, Krishna himself. And the ego is not egoism, but the real I am, soul within you, Arjuna. And Bhima plays the role of Manas. All the practical realities are handled by your conscious mind. I will not give you further, this all becomes a riddle for beginners. But just since you have already studied those scriptures, many of you, so I have mentioned those. Only to let you know the power, potentiality, and the glory of the chitta. The mind stuff is a very tough stuff. First, even to understand its variations. And all the 4 are constantly blended together. When you are listening to me, your memory is working. Your connection with literature is working. Samskara level is also dominating what you should listen, what you shouldn't listen. To samskara through your vasana. So all the 4 are there sitting together very tight. But there are 2 departments. One department, these 4. Another department, the 6th ones. This department is busy closing the doors. No light, no air, no breeze, no expansion. The other one opening it. Objects that are acceptable as well as objects that are unacceptable. Both are to be renounced. This is a broad understanding. This again coming to the same thing we call bhava pratyaya, pratyaya bhava. When you are watching a show caused by projections, on a screen, cinema show. While you are busy with the show is giving you two types of experience. Presence of things you like and absence of things you like. Presence gives your mind thrill. Presence means you expected the show to be very vigorating and thrilling, causing horripilation. But you found instead of horripilation, you are developing terrifying experience. So, your projected world is presenting things you like, things you don't like, things that you find present as if you have attained it, things that you find absent, you have not attained it, you have to work for it. But both aspects of your experience is backed up by projections. Now, when the entire projections move away, then you have the revelation of the screen. But while the both experiences went on, the screen did not run away. The reality behind your experience was the screen. But you were screaming. So long as ignorance is imagined, there is a notion that Brahman does not exist. So long there is Dushta Chatushtaya. There is a constant talk about crushing the Pandavas, even removing Krishna. Put it in a simple way, led by the Dushta Chatushtaya, the impure chitta, impure ego, impure intellect, impure mind, led by the impurity, there develops a deep-rooted concept within your personality that God is non-existent. God is word, God is palabra. God, 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 you are hungry, God, God. Hunger doesn't go away. Just a palabra. I'm joking. God doesn't exist. There is no law, no law of karma. And if that is, as long as that insight has not developed, that the absolute reality is the God, things that you think are existing, they are the ones that don't exist. The absolute self, God, whom you think he doesn't exist, he is the only one who exists. As long as there is a deep-rooted notion, I am the body, there is dependence upon this world. So long as there is erroneous sense, this is mine, the chitta continues to maintain its illusory existence. Now, led by your Dushta Chatushtaya, the impure mental process, what are the characteristics of that type of, possessing that type of mind? There will be Dehadhyas, the idea I am the body. When we talk of body, it has three-aspected insight. Physical body, subtle body, causal body. And this point we have discussed several times. Body is called Deha, Dahyate. Your physical body is constantly changing. It's going to perish. Your subtle body, which is backed up by your sentiments, emotions, feelings, that world also will not be, that body will not be always there. Your causal body backed up by karmic seeds, samskaras, even that is constantly changing. Three bodies, they are not the reality. In every embodiment, you change all the three bodies. So therefore, this deep-rooted feeling, I am the body, and determining things on the basis of securing the body, that's considered the real success for the masses. Therefore, all blessings are given. May you live long. They hardly say live happily. Another mistaken notion that becomes powerful because of impure chitta, and that's that me and mine constantly assert, this is me. These things are mine. And in your own mind you have that type of ahamata. How great am I? And mamata, the sense of mindness. All these are not real, no matter how wonderful setting you may have of your near and dear ones. You can have the whole forest of deer becoming your dear ones. How endearing. But you can well understand, deer don't have security. So your me and mine, that sense, they are constantly shaking. Therefore we use the mantra Namah, which implies neither me nor mine, pointing to surrender to God. All is divine, neither me nor mine. So long as one does not associate with the wise and ascend the ladder leading to the fullness of wisdom, the mind continues to flow downwards into the realms of the not-self, creating attachment, hatred, egoism, and numerous illusions. This is very advanced writing. Many things are brought. If you just detail one verse, it will take a whole satsanga. But I'm not going to that extent. What is saying? Satsanga, the glory of satsanga. The importance of satsanga is beyond your imagination. The satsanga, we have explained many times. What you are now having is called satsanga. That's a normal understanding of satsanga. But advanced learning of satsanga, anything in the world, any situation that inspires you to bring harmony in your personality, to bring integration. Your whole personality is like a musical veena. And for a veena to be thrilled, you need a great musician to make the veena bring out the real melody. So anything that causes, that promotes melodious movement, that's satsanga. Melodious music is satsanga. Melodious, terrifying sounds, that's not satsanga. Your mind needs to understand the difference. When you are constantly listening to superficial news, and mind is constantly jerking, what else, who is saying what, when did he say it, show the face, and so forth. I'm joking. All that practical news, etc., is practical reality. But it is your challenge not to become drowned in every little news you hear. Hear it. If it has lesson to give to you, learn from it. But don't stay with it, trapped, waiting to seed for the next day. Even while going into the bed, waiting. How long can I stay? What's going on? So that movement is kusanga. You're losing all your time in keeping your mind associated with agitation, terror, suspense, and despair. And that becomes your internal japa, swadhyaya, and abhyasa. That's how the demons in you practice austerity. More austerity rules, more powerful they become. Good association, same setup. You are allowing your mind from the morning till evening. There is a boundless opportunity for your mind to be so inspired. Just the scene of how the sun begins to rise. Jyoti Kalash Chalake, the divine Prakriti has taken the Jyoti Kalash, a vessel filled with light, and pouring that light. And how the entire sky becomes a reddish color, how the light shines over the leaves, and it's a whole. I'm referring to a particular music, filmy music, that have captured the divine sentiments. Jyoti Kalash Chalake. And that's a sample of satsanga. And you can well understand, if you are facing a certain situation and you handle it with dignity, it has inspired you to have source of satsanga within yourself. A higher, try to understand, a negative sentiment is kusanga. Positive sentiment, satsanga. Negative sentiment, anger is raging. Positive, a pure love is emanating, a delight, joyous, backed up by your humility, backed up by your charity, backed up by your control of anger and hate, and transforming them into love and forgiveness and all those qualities. Try to see the difference. Those sentiments Those thoughts that are degrading you, that's kusanga, wrong association. Those thoughts and feelings that is elevating you, dignifying you, bringing integrity in your personality. You can be really proud of yourself. That's satsanga. And then in that process you come to realize the highest source of satsanga within you is God, who has never left you. Everything within your body, mind and intellect is sustained and controlled by God. God has created your body, God has created your nervous system. God is watching over every repair work to be done in your body. That God has never left you. So satsanga is a great mantra. Satsangatve nihasangatvam. When you pursue the path of satsanga, you become increasingly detached from thought waves of the mind, from the projections, the world of projections, and you become increasingly drawn towards the substratum, the screen, the reality. And that movement to be drawn to God, even if it is the slightest movement, it far excels all that keep you in the state of projections. Just to remind you this statement, Tat Swarga Apavarga Sukh Dhariya Tulai Kang Tulai na tahi sakal mili jo sukh Allah satsang. The joy that comes in satsanga, the spiritual joy, even few moments of satsanga, that outweighs all the joy you can receive through Swarg, Apavarg, all the heavenly experiences and all experiences based on your positive attainment, prosperity, etc. All put together. Simple point, you don't hold any attainment from the world. Just like when you wake up from your dream, you don't carry anything from your dream. Entire dream wipes away. So this is a world you live in where all your attainments are wiped away. So, satsanga is the only thing that gives you something that will never be wiped away. So that's a big difference. So long as there is a spiritual blindness, one remains a slave to the numerous desires for the objects of the world, which sustain the existence of the chitta. This point is brought allegorically in the story of Mahabharata. Yudhishthira's palace setting was setting of dharma. And there when Duryodhana went to explore it, he had trouble everywhere. The beautiful wall of transparent crystal, he found it, a nose blowing, head breaking. Beautiful floor, shimmering with light. He found it like a river or pool of water, and he avoided it. And that which was just simple straight, he developed the idea, and you know, where there was water, he considered it land. where there was solid, he considered it water. And when he was behaving like that, Draupadi laughed, saying, "Here the son of a blind man." That's in the storyline, but it's allegorical. Duryodhana represents mind overpowered by ignorance. If your mind is that way, then this world is nothing but the dharma, indraprastha. But everything that is good and positive, the negative mind doesn't like it, gets knocked by them. And when it happens that way, the higher level of your mind is also there together. Shishta Chatushtaya level. And the Shishta Chatushtaya level, Draupadi represents intuitive feeling that brings intuition. To that feeling, Duryodhana's conduct is blind conduct. Viveka Buddhi laughs at the dull-wit movements of the human beings. But if you don't listen to that laughter, there comes a time your ignorance has ripened to an extent of being channelized, being sublimated. At that state, as if you are listening to the laughter. All these are very subtle points. When that state comes, your ignorance is now getting involved in a process of its termination. In other words, within your own personality, you hold this insight that if I am staying with the world and pursuing the process of repeated birth and death, I am a dull-wit, son of a blind person. Not like son, daughter of a blind person. Therefore, ignorance has to be treated. He who does not long for the objects of the world and has dispersed the net of desires by the force of wisdom does not suffer from the delusion of the mind. Now, if you have developed vairagya, you don't crave for objects, and who have worked upon your vasanas, thereby your desires have become positive desires. Desires turn into aspiration. If that is happening, you are moving towards God realization or self-realization. He who has given up the idea, I am the body, and has developed the vision to see the illusory death behind all objects of the world, such a person becomes free of the chitta. That's the ultimate goal, that you are not involved with chitta because you are out of bondage and release. Both processes have gone away. Then your I is a revelation of the truth, Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. By the practice of listening, reflection, meditation, the chitta is transformed into pure chit. These are now Vedantic points. What is the sadhana, the best sadhana for attaining enlightenment? Called Shravana Chatushtaya. Shravana, listening. Manan, reflection. Nididhyasan, meditation. But each of these terms need to be understood in a profound way. If your mind is constantly listening to your ego's grudges, your ears are filled with muck. You need to clean them. People don't listen. And that, of course, is not something very difficult to understand. Even in the close-knit families, father wants to give a good advice. And his dearest child doesn't want to listen or misunderstands it. And the father reminds, didn't I tell you? So, listen term is a profound word. Listening and then reflection. Reflection is another profound movement. Allowing your mind to become calm, so calm that what you have learned from satsang goes deeper and deeper. I always like to give you very ordinary simile. When you are hungry, your body is really, from a healthy point of view, needs nutrition. Food has come before you, and that has presented the work of your listening. Listening has presented a wonderful dish. Manana now is another stage of enjoying the dish. You take every little relish, put it in your mouth, allow some more time so that you can enjoy it. I'm giving you a gross type of illustration. Similarly, if you allow a certain prayers, etc., some certain prayer inspired you. Now, allow more time in your mind. Allow yourself to relax. Lead your mind to calmness. Instead of rushing from one mantra to another, go into the depth of that mantra that is inspiring. As if you are relishing every word. Vasans jirnani yatha vihaya. And so forth. What I have quoted is from the Gita. Soul moves on from body to body, just like children go on changing clothes. Mother changes the cloth. Each time the cloth is changed, the child seems to be stirred up. But it becomes joyous. Similarly, change of body is not a matter of sorrow from a divine point of view. That I'm just giving away just an illustration. Countless inspiring verses and statements have come from the sages. You don't have to go after everyone, but choose and allow your mind to be inspired. How do you do it? By reflection. You allow your mind to understand it, as if you are putting a spoon into it and putting it on your tongue. Relish it. And as a result of that, meditation occurs. Your mind has assimilated and has moved away from illusions. Once the illusion moves away, there's an aspect of your mind which is like a swan that unfurls its wings and soars. Meditation is a soaring movement, for sure. You don't know where you are going, leading to samadhi. And with this, I'm going to conclude. Om Ram 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 Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras, grace of God for over all of you. And most importantly, try to develop sensitivity. Your immortal soul, that also is not enough. You are Brahman, the Absolute. And gripped by mortality virus, you have gone on running from one embodiment to another, writing biographies and autobiographies. Try to develop aspiration for God realization by very simple, relishing method of satsanga. Even the slightest act of goodness, being kind instead of cruel, humble instead of proud, cheering up people instead of making them miserable. When you involve yourself in that type of activity, you are in satsanga. And you are creating satsanga atmosphere around you in a profound way. And put it still more in another step. Choose any particular scripture. Draw commentaries of that scripture from different sources or whatever source is authentic. Use your own insight and share the knowledge with others. Called Jnana Yajna. That becomes more practical aspect of satsanga. And with this, Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukum Vabandhanan Mrityor Mukhyamamritat Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.